didn't reinvent its clamshell style foldable, but the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 looks ready to hold on to its value foldable crown. Samsung's mid-year Unpacked event delivered everything we expected, with some new Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, a new duo of smart watches across the Galaxy Watch 5 and Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, and a pair of foldables in the Galaxy Z Fold 4 and the Galaxy Z Flip 4. The new foldable keeps the signature clamshell design and comes with an improved display, dual cameras, and a flagship chipset. The screen's diagonal is 6.7 inch, which is the same as the predecessor, but that's where the similarities end. The new OLED panel has a better hinge that bends in a pear shape to close completely when folded. It supports HDR10 Plus and comes with 144Hz refresh rate. Also, Motorola dropped the weird notch with the panel tucking underneath and introduced a punch hole design for the 32-megapixel front-facing camera. Now, we don't want to call it a selfie shooter, as selfies will likely be taken with the dual camera on the back, in combination with the external 2.7-inch OLED screen that apparently remains unchanged. The main camera has a 50-megapixel sensor and OIS identical to what is used on the Edge 30 Pro and S30 Pro. The secondary camera is a 13-megapixel ultra-wide-angle shooter with 121 degrees field of view. The previous two Motorola Razr phones had Snapdragon 7 series chipsets, but finally the Motorola Razr 2022 comes with a flagship Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Other specs include support for RAW shooting, MyUI 4.0 interface that redesigned some apps to work on the outer screen as well, dual speakers with Dolby Atmos support, and proper DC dimming. If you have ever seen the existing Z Flip 3, the design of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 may not even register at first glance. It sports the same straight-sided look with a black visor along the top edge of the back that plays host to two rear camera sensors and the external cover display, while the rest of the back is comprised of Corning Gorilla Glass Victus set against a complementary color-matched aluminum armor frame. Launch colors include graphite, pink gold, Bora purple, and blue, as well as the ability to mix and match both back colors and frame finishes in certain markets if you pick up a bespoke edition. Despite the same primary screen size as the Flip 3, Samsung has managed to make the Flip 4 smaller overall. When folding the phone closed, the logo engraved hinge doesn't protrude quite as much as did on the last model, with a folded head that's 1.5mm shorter thanks in part to slimmer bezels. This has also made more room for a bigger battery. Side on, there's still a discernible gap to protect the point at which the screen creases in half, and dust ingress is still a risk with no certified protection against grit. However, IPX8 water resistance does return from last year's Flip and is still just as unbelievably impressive in an ever-growing market of rival foldables that still offer no such protection. Like this year's model, you will find a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus Dynamic AMOLED 2X panel when you open up the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, which sports a pleasantly smooth 120Hz refresh rate that can scale down to 1 Hz in certain situations to preserve battery life. Visual quality is great for the resolution, with the crease unseen when viewed head on the barely felt under finger, making usability almost as good as on any conventional candy bar smartphone. albeit with a decidedly unconventional 22:9 aspect ratio. The shape does ask for two-handed user from the user a little more often, but also lends itself particularly well to split-screen multitasking and enjoying ultra-widescreen gaming or video playback. That main screen also comes protected by a new version of Samsung's UTG Ultra Thin Glass 2.0, which the company claims is 20% stronger than before, although we can't speak to its scratch or impact resistance at this early stage. Samsung made the external cover display larger on the Flip 3 compared to its predecessors, and that runs through to the Galaxy Z Flip 4 with the same 1.9-inch Super AMOLED panel as before, plus the same 260x512 resolution and 60Hz refresh rate too. Motorola has confirmed the Razr 2022 will come armed with Qualcomm's top-tier Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, making the Razr 2022 Motorola's most technically capable foldable by a long shot. While the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 might not offer a major performance leap over the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, it is a huge jump for Motorola. So far, the Motorola Razr foldable phones have relied on mid-range chips such as Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G, which makes the Motorola Razr 2022 a massive update for the lineup. It comes in three variants of 8GB of RAM paired with 128GB storage, and 8GB paired with 256GB, and 12GB with a whopping 512GB storage. But there is more to the picture here when just the added raw performance. A flagship grade chip also unlocks new capabilities for the camera and ensures that it stays at the top of the priority list when it comes to rolling out software updates in the long run. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 looks and feels like its predecessor, but comes graced with a smattering of small improvements that demonstrate Samsung's ability to listen to its users. While existing Z Flip 3 owners shouldn't feel left behind based on the addition and enhancement its successor offer, for anyone else looking to make the move to a modern foldable, even with the slight year-on-year price hike in some markets, the Z Flip 4 still looks like the best current gen clamshell for the price. Samsung has definitely left plenty of wiggle room for the Flip 5 or whatever it will be called. However, with bigger camera hardware advancements, higher resolution displays, dust resistance and faster charging, all areas that it'd be great to see more improvement on. Coming to the pricing, Motorola is more aggressive this time around. The Razr 2022 has been announced in China in range from 6,000 Chinese yuan for the cheapest model, with a 7,300 Chinese yuan asking price for the most expensive one. This translates to $900 to $1,100 though it's never quite that straightforward. It would still be a drop from the 1,500 price from the previous generation and close enough to the Z Flip 4's 1,000 baht price that the Razr could even undercut it. So far, Motorola has only shared plans to launch the Razr 2022 in China, but the company often starts its mobile launches with a China launch before expanding to Europe and the United States. We'll hold out for an announcement later and update this if and when that happens.